Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to see how to use Smart Vector smartly in Nuke. So as you know guys, Smart Vector is very useful for organic type of stuff. For example, water and the cloth, all that stuff we can easily track with the Smart Vector, and we can do a compositing, we can do a match move and other stuff with the Smart Vector. I will give you a quick brief about what is Smart Vector is and how it's work and how we can use Smart Vector usually. So as you can see, I have this footage and I will walk through the whole script, what I did here with Smart Vector and how I use Smart Vector specifically. So as you can see, this is the Smart Vector node, and if I open the properties, as you can see, we have a vector detail and the strength. So usually this one is 0.3, so I made a 0.1, so maximum detail from this footage. So if I view is blank, so if I go to the channel, we can see the Smart Vector layer. This is the Smart Vector. We can see this is the red, green and blue in the color data, but it's actually a data which can Nuke can read. What is basically happening is the Smart Vector node is basically storing every pixel information of this image, of this footage in every frame. It's calculating in every frame, so it's very heavy. So that's why it's always recommend to pre-com this Smart Vector. So as you can see, I did a pre-com. You have to set the all channel first, and then you can render this one out. So as you can see, I pre-com this one, and then I'm using this in my downstream. So in this one, I'm using on her face and in leg here, so to do a match move on the Smart Vector. And the usual way to use Smart Vector is we can use this way, as you can see. So the usually using the Smart Vector is we can generate a Smart Vector and then you can use the vector distort node. I'm going to show you in this one what I did. So this is the footage I have. So if I quickly play for you, so as you can see in this footage, you can clearly see we have this girl and we have a reflection. Okay, so this is the glass reflection we can see in the background covering her face. As you can see, it's not easy track. Let's see the result of the Smart Vector. I added a Smart Vector here, the usual stuff, make the vector detail maximum the 1. Okay, and then what I have here, the vector distort node, and the reference frame is 85. If I go to that frame, I think it's the last frame. So I'm going back, and as you can see, this one I set the reference frame, and the blur size is 32 because otherwise it will warp a lot. And the source, I'm using this noise pattern, and I'm applying this one with the vector distort, then I'm overing this one, and let's see the result. Okay, so as you can see, this is the result I'm getting. In this one, you can see the stuff is traveling here, as you can see here, because I made it a very low res, so you can't see, but in the high res I can easily see this thing is traveling, because in the footage we can see this object is reflecting here. I will provide you this entire project file in my Patreon, so you can see what I mean. But usually the Smart Vector, the problem with the Smart Vector is in this vector distort, in the reference frame everything is looking very good. As we go far away from the reference frame, then the Smart Vector is getting very bad, and we don't have a control over it. Sure, we have this matte input, but in the matte input we can stencil specific thing, and if you try to stencil this one out, you can do that too, but then you're going to lose the animation of her face. Always compromise when using a Smart Vector. If you track a very long shot, then it will get very messy very quickly. So the best way to use the Smart Vector is to use a grid warp tracker. So as you know, the grid warp tracker, we have two grid warp. So we have this grid warp tracker and we have this grid warp. This normal grid warp, we don't have the Smart Vector input, but in the latest grid warp, I think in the Nuke 12 they added this grid warp. So this grid warp have this Smart Vector input, and it's very useful. In this footage I use this grid warp. Same, the reference frame is the same. As you can see, this is the reference frame I have. I will quickly show you how to use this one. So if I take the fresh grid warp tracker, I'm connecting vector to this vector image and the source to this track 1, and this source to this input, because I want to track this image. So I have this grid warp, I'm connecting this input and this one, and I have this grid. So I'm going, first thing I need to select my reference frame, so I'm selecting this last frame as my reference frame, and we have a few controls over here. I'm not going to deep into this tools here, but I will tell you how to use this Smart Vector, but I will tell you how to use this grid warp. Okay, so select this one, so you can draw this grid like this, and as you can see, we have division, you can first thing you have to set this to screen so you can see the entire footage. And this division I'm just making this one, so you can see this square. And then you have to link this one, so these two grid are linked. So this one is like is from, and this two, this is the source and this is the destination grid. Just like in the corner pin we have, select any one of these because these are locked. So I'm just aligning this one like this. Okay, so as you can see, I align this one. Now I can add lines here, plusing this one, and then I'm adding a line. So first thing I want here I'm adding a few lines here and there. Okay, let's see that many lines I want. And then what I can do, I can track this one. So I'm selecting any one of these grid, and in my reference frame I'm going to track this one. But as you can see, we have this option here, track rigidity. So this one is basically telling this grid how much to use smart vector. I mean, it's same like we have this in the vector editor, we have this blur size. If I reduce this one in the 0, it will use very high frequency noise, and this thing will distort very quickly. This shape that we track, this shape distort very quickly in a micro level. But if you increase the blur, it's basically averaging the smart vector values, and it will not distort in micro level. So the same thing we have this here, the track rigidity. If I increase this amount, the point will not gonna do that. Point will not gonna animate in a micro level. I mean, it's not gonna vibrate and anything. It will maintain this entire shape. The default value is in this grid tracker is 0.05. So I can increase this 1.1. So because I don't want to use this reflection to interfere in my track, because I want to track her face, not the background. I'm selecting this one and then I'm pressing track. So now this is a one-time track, because it's only used smart vector for tracking, because it's generating a keyframe. You just have to track once and you don't need to worry about okay, I'm not gonna track this one the whole frame because this smart vector is very heavy and I don't have a precom. It's always recommend to do a precom, so your track will be much faster. But the thing is, see, I tracked this many frames. What I can do, I can just remove this smart vector connection because it's done. The smart vector job is done. I have keyframe animation here. If I play this one, as you can see, it's pretty solid. See, as you can see, I have a very nice animation here. So how to use this one as a match move and how to use this one as a stabilize. So if you connect this one, usually what people do, what you can do, you can just what they can do, you can unlink this one first of all, or what you can do, you can just unlink this one like this. Just click this one chain icon, and in the two you can basically animate this warp from here to here, and like that they will do like that. They will basically distort the image and they can do some facial expression changes. What if you want to do a match move in in specific thing, like this patch you want to match move on her face? So in that one, first we need to remove this source and we need to connect the source to this patch. As you can see, this patch I connected, and let's take a one merge and merge this one over like this. So as you can see, this one is merging over this footage, and I'm just extending this one. And in this grid of tracker is pretty you have to know this grid of tracker very well. So this is a source and this is the destination grid. So in this latest grid of tracker, they added a many features like you can add adjustment grid. So as you can see, in these two grid we have keyframes on both of these grid. So to do a match move, we need to remove the keyframe from this source, so our destination will be match move. So just click this one, remove all keyframes. But first of all, you need to unlink these two, then you can click on this remove keyframes here. So it will remove all the keyframes, and make sure we are removing on frame 73. So this frame is our reference frame. So to remember this frame is the reference frame, I'm setting a keyframe here, adding one keyframe. And now if I play on this frame, you will see this patch is match move on this footage. And now we are seeing the actual source behind, because in the tracker we need to set this input, this background to black. So this will gone, and now you can see this patch is moving moving with her face. but the reference frame is wrong because I set this patch to I draw this patch on this last frame. But as you can see, it's going pretty nice. So as you can see, it's moving with her face. And if I go to here and so let's see if you want to copy all the animation in on the from also. So go to the tool and we have a copy all keyframes here button. Click here, go here and make sure you are in a reference frame, and you can paste here all. So now you have all the keyframes from to and from and to as well. So that means you don't have any animation because they are cancelling each other. So this will stay as nothing is happen, but the grid is moving. As you can see, the grid is moving, but nothing is going to happen. So I'm going to this reference frame and I'm doing the similar stuff to remove keyframes and adding one key, and in that reference frame I have a match move. As you can see, now it's going pretty well, and you don't have to worry about warping here. If I go to the full raise in the full quality, so as you can see, we are getting this kind of, and as you can see, it's warping a bit. So the benefit of using the grid of tracker, you can adjust the tracking. I mean, basically you are going to adjusting the smart vector track with the help of grid of tracker. So what I mean by that, in this 2-1 I can right click and I can add a adjustment grid. So this is basically like when adding child layer to this parent one. So I'm adding a child layer adjustment grid, and as you can see, in this grid we don't have any keyframe, but it's moving with this parent grid because the parent grid have a keyframe, so it's moving here. But we can adjust in here in this grid, and it will affect on the parent grid also. So basically we are adjusting the grid. If I do adjustment on this 2 grid, we have to adjust in every single frame, so which is not the best way. You can add adjustment grid here, and you can add mini grid as you can see it's stacking here in this order, but it's not good to add many adjustment grid because it's because this is the grid and it's going to mess very quickly. So the one grid, if you add only one grid, that is fine, and 2 is maximum amount, I think, in my opinion. So usually I'm adding only one grid. So see this adjustment grid, I can come to this frame, and first of all I'm going to disable the view. I don't want to select accidentally this grid, so I'm selecting this one. I'm adding a keyframe here, and let's see if I go to this 80 frame, and in this frame I'm adjusting this grid just to show you how this is useful. So I'm just animating this point here like that. See, I'm pushing this point here, and now if you go back to this first frame, as you can see, in this first frame everything is looking okay because there is no changes on this first frame. And if I play from here, you will see as this is moving, the animation I did at the keyframe here, it will see it's warping here, and it's also following the parent grid. So that's how you can adjust the grid of tracker. And let's see, I'm going to remove this one, remove this grid from here, and let's see, I'm just copying this grid. So we saw how to do that match move, and let's see how we can do the stabilize. So first of all, let's go to the reference frame, and in here what you can do, we have to do the opposite thing. So previously we removed the keyframe from this from grid. Now we have to remove the keyframe from to grid, but we have to add a keyframe in from grid also. So remove from here. First of all, I'm copying all the keyframes and pasting into the from grid, and in the to grid I will remove the keyframes and adding a one keyframe. So now if I play this one, as you can see, this is now stabilized, and you will see. So as you can see, this is now stabilized. As you can see, only we can see the face perspective and the face animation, the face warping. As you can see, we can see pretty easily. Now we did the stabilize. So how to do that match move? So let's see how. If I do that, we have to select this one, we have to copy and paste and connect this one here. Go to the reference frame again, and as you can see, we have this invert option here. Just click this invert one, and now if I play this one, so as you can see, just click that invert button and it will basically switching to stabilize to match move and match move to stabilize. As you can see, now we get that exact animation. If I merge this one over, and as you can see, it's the same animation. So we added a match move back to this face. As you can see, no changes, but go here and here, now. But in between we have this stabilize one and we have this match move, so we can do stuff here. So this is the idea of using smart vector smartly in Nuke. And the other advantage of using this method, this one, using a match move in this one, we can export a 2D track on this grid also. This is another advantage of using a grid of tracker in a smart vector. So if I right click in any of this point, as you can see, we have this export tab and you can export tracker here. So usually I want to export a transform. So if I view this one, as you can see, I have a match move transform here. So if I remove this one and if I connect this one here instead of grid of tracker, now I have a single point tracker. So as you can see, I have now single point tracker which is tracking this point, this part. What I can do, I can just remove this one and connect to this one here, and I can basically change this to click on this invert bar button. So now this one become a stabilize. Just like same in the grid of tracker, we have this invert because this is the match move. Now if I click this invert over button, it become stabilized. So as you can see, now this is the stabilizing this part only. See, this is the idea of using the smart vector in Nuke. In the grid of tracker, you have much bigger control on your smart vector. So I'm using this one in this entire script. So I'm quickly going to walk through how I use this one in this script. So and I did a small test here to test the rigidity of this one, and you can see when you download this one, you can see the different values. This is the rigidity 1.0, this is the 0.5, and this is the default value 0.05, and how this is affecting this shape. So first of all, let's see this one. So how this is affecting this shape here. So you can check this in this script, but let's quickly walk through what I did here. So in this example, so I have this footage and I'm adding some zombie marks here and here on this ladies. So as you can see, I basically denoise this one first, and then I'm adding some layers here to this plate and the denoise plate. And I have this smart vector. I render this one smart vector here. I set it these patches, as you can see. This patch for that leg, and this is the eyes one. This is the eye we have here. I can show you here. So this is the two eyes we have here, and this is the face hit. Let me quickly show you here. So this is the final patch I created. So this is the final patch I created, and it's coming from this image. I took this patch and I did some transform and the relighting and all that stuff you can see here. But as you can see, the match move with the smart vector is coming after I did this, and I will show you this first one. See, I'm using a grid of tracker here also, and doing that usual stuff, match moving this entire frame range. As you can see, 117, I track this whole frame. I can just remove this one, but I connected just for you to understand. So, and I added one adjustment grid. As you can see, how much I adjust this grid to make the match move perfectly. So let's quickly see here. We can see, so I'm merging here. As you can see, so this is the patch here. If I come here on this frame, as you can see, it's match moving pretty nicely. And if I go to that match move, so as you can see, I adjusted this grid few frames. So if I disable, I mean, this is the disable. It's doing some changes here on this frame. So that's how I use a smart vector using a grid warp tracker. And the same thing, if I on this one, as you can see, the eyes and these face marks. So this is one also, this face, these eyes and everything. The same using this grid of tracker to add this one, and as you can see, it's looking pretty good. It's not the final, but I will give you this script so you can see how I did and what I did. One thing I want to tell you about when you're doing this one, in the end I will show you what I mean. If I go to this end, I provided some mats, some DI mats. So if I go here, if I go this frame, as you can see, I have some DI mats. So this is the face. So this one, this marks one, and these are the eyes. In the alpha, we have this leg. So utilizing RGBA to making a DI mat for every channel. How I add this channel? First, when you done your compositing, in the end I'm adding some shuffles and to adding channels here. As you can see here, and here also. So in the end, so this patch I made some channel. As you can see, this DI phase hit, and this is the phase hit RGB, so you can use in the pipe if you want to do some blending and everything. You can walk through this script and you can see how I did this, and I also added one smoke layer. All these elements is coming from the internet. It's not I don't have any third-party package. It's just normal MP4 file. So you can do you can check how I did this, and I want to tell you is the track QC. So as I said, in the GridDrop tracker we can export the 2D track. So I exported some track for this leg and for the face. So I can come here and do that invert button, and I can stabilize and I can play and I can check my track quality here and here. Currently I think it's very heavy. So what you can do, you can disable everything. You can just view this merge, and you can view here and you can see how good our match move is. That's how I check the track quality. Once you track with the Smart Vector in the GridDrop, you have flexible control over it, and the best way you can export to the tracks as many point as you want. So this is the another advantage. So I will provide you this whole script. You can see how I did this, how I comb this entire thing. Hope you like it. Please let me know if you have any other tutorial request and anything. This is the way I use the GridDrop tracker. This is how I use Smart Vector with GridDrop tracker, which give me much better control. So this is just another way of using Smart Vector. You can use directly, as I said, and you can use also in a STMap. I think in my previous video I covered this one, STMap in Nuke, how to use the STMap and all that. You can watch that video here. This video is specifically about the GridDrop tracker, how to use that one. And it's little confusing, but once you understand how to use this one, it's very helpful in many situations. I use this in production a lot, so that is my experience with the GridDrop. It's very nice tool, and the Smart Vector is improving a lot. So tools in Nuke is improving a lot. So hopefully we can see the Smart Vector supporting in Spline Warp too, because the Spline Warp is very nice. If you have a vector input just like in the GridDrop tracker, we can use it very nicely. You can use the Spline Warp same as a GridDrop tracker, but the advantage of Spline Wrap is we don't have a grid. We can draw any shape, any line, and it will match move. So maybe in the future Foundry will add, but for now the GridDrop is the only option, and it's pretty good in my opinion. Try that. You will definitely find very helpful, and I will see you in a very next one. So thank you for watching and keep supporting.